This morning, I ran across this video on YouTube. I'm publishing 1,000 blog posts in 2023, and I thought to myself, here goes another one of those rank and tank websites. You know that strategy that's been really popular for the last couple of years where somebody publishes a ton of content really quickly and then gets traffic, and ultimately, now lately what we're seeing is a lot of them are tanking and going to zero. So I pulled up this video expecting to see that, but that's not what I found at all. Instead, what I found is a very well thought out and very well put together website plan for a website that I think will stand the test of time. And I wanted to share that with you guys here and break down what we can learn from what he's doing. Now, real quick, let me show you an example of a website that has done the rank and tank by publishing a bunch of content real quick, getting a bunch of traffic, making a bunch of money, and then tanking. And that is this website right here, upgradedhome.com. I don't know anything about this website or who owns it, but I have ran across it years ago and followed it. They publish a bunch of content on it here. And they monetize the traffic with display ads, as you can see, and I think there's some affiliate stuff. It's not great content in any way. It's not bad either, but it's also not great. And there's tons of articles on here, like thousands of them. And if we look at the traffic in SEMrush, we can see right when it was started in 2020, it took off and boom, it was getting a ton of frequent traffic. And next thing you know, months or a year later, so this thing has absolutely tanked. I mean, no, it hasn't gone to zero, but it's doing like, gosh, what is that? Like 85% of the traffic that it originally was. So we're seeing that a lot with a lot of people that through this time period had big success with publishing high volume of content from 2020 kind of to 2021, 2022. They published a lot of content, found a lot of success with it, but ultimately now it is tanking. So that's what I was expecting when I ran across this video here and his strategy. Now let's jump into it with him sharing the domain name and why he chose that domain name. And I have to say, I find it very respectable that he's sharing the domain name for the blog and the project.
So let's talk about how and why I chose the domain name for this project. Ultimately, I fell into bopple.com. It's a one-word domain with few characters, which all lend to an easily recognizable brand. If I ever wanted to sell this in the future, it doesn't.
All right, so right there, he's talking about building a brand and he chose a brandable domain name. And I think that's something that differentiates him right off the bat from what most people that are trying to build a niche website do, whereas they go for some keyword focused domain. He picks something that is brandable. I really like that.
It doesn't mean anything specific to anyone. It's just like Apple. It's Bopple. It's just, it technically is a small town in Australia, but we'll get into that. So I wanted to purchase an aged domain that had some backlinks, but nothing too crazy. When I found bopple.com, it was available for $40. I got it on expireddomains.net. I made sure there was nothing weird in the way of the wait.
Okay, so he bought it as an expired domain. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of buying expired domains, but his case here is not that he's, buying this domain to leverage what was pre-existing. Rather, he just bought it because it was a nice brandable domain. And, when you log on to this website and you see the full list of domains, it's really nice to see what has expired and pick up some kind of ideas that you would never even think of for a brandable domain. So I actually like this. I like how he found it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of expired domains per se, right? People are buying them to kind of leverage up their backlink profile. I think that's a little scammy, spammy, and I think Google is going to get hip to that and ultimately whack it down. But what he did was just find a brandable domain. Hey, it had some backlinks, whatever, but that's not his primary purpose for choosing it. He chose a brandable domain just because it was brandable and available, only $40. Now let's jump ahead to what he's doing for content and where he's actually getting the content from.
This is the tricky part. So we have in-house writers who do a great job. Their articles, in my opinion, are second to none in the industry, and I'm very proud of them. But to write 1,000 articles at an average size of 1,500 words would cost us $150,000 to $400,000. And not only that, our workload is...
What is that? $150,000 to $400,000 for 1,000 articles. So that means that he was looking at paying somewhere between $150 to $400 per article. That's pretty expensive, right? You can get content quite a bit cheaper than that that's authentically written, but still at that volume, 1,000 articles, it's very hard to outsource that. You will bog down article writing agencies if you're trying to produce that quickly.
It's already tight as it is. We're servicing clients around the world with content every day, so it isn't feasible economically or time-wise to do it the conventional way. So enter AI, enter ChatGPT. And I know a lot of people are probably moaning about the tool right now and how it hallucinates and its information isn't perfect and so on. And all these things are true, but
Yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, wow, ChatGPT. I'm not a big fan of that, right? Because ChatGPT in my level, or not my level, but in my experience, just regurgitates information that's already out there and spits out low-level information. It just kind of regurgitates what's out there online. There's nothing originally researched. There's nothing insightful about it. There's nothing really good about the ChatGPT content. Having been in the online business space since 2009, this really reminds me of the article spinners that were popular from like 2008 to say 2012 or so when Panda and Penguin updates really crushed it. And it just kind of spit stuff out. It's like a next level one of those. So when I heard this, I wasn't too keen on exactly what he's doing here. I don't like this aspect of it, but he is pairing it with some other things that I think will help. Let's jump ahead to how he's actually using ChatGPT here.
so the exact process of creating content for our website varies, but usually it begins with someone interfacing with ChatGPT to give it specific prompts and questions based upon article outlines. But let's back up for a second. Even before we begin creating any content, any words on the screen, our team creates content hubs. At this point, we've created a content hub for car insurance.
Okay, this is interesting here.
With about 100 articles, and a sales and marketing content hub with about 150 articles. The next hub we are working on has 250 articles, and all of these blog posts have already been mapped out based upon content structure. I'm sure you've seen other SEOs talk about. The basic concept is that there are tiers of articles. Tier 1 articles being the most important. Everything under a Tier 1 article is considered a supported article for a specific upline or higher tiered article. It's a web of articles that all support each other in some way or fashion.
Let's just see what we can break out of this little chart. Okay. So his pillar content is the jogging guide, and then there's the other stuff. This is really something that needs to be thought out here. Content planning and ultimately attacking in clusters. The theory goes that if Google sees a bunch of content around, one specific category, it considers you an authority in that space. I will say this is a very low statistical significance theory, right? Because there are websites out there that just publish random shit and they do rank. But fundamentally, I think this is a good best practice to follow here.
We interlink all of them through a very uniform process while allowing for, sporadic, natural internal links as well as needed. Once we have our basic layout, we begin our content creation method. The first step is to create an outline for the article. There are different ways to go about this. There are tools you can use such as Content Harmony or other AI-driven processes, but ours is more granular, it's more easy. I'll have another video in the future detailing how we create content for this, but for the sake of time in this video, our content process involves at least 4 people on each article, each person responsible for sharpening the article to a point. The process ends with me taking the draft format of the article on the website. So
all right, I'm going to cut them off there here. And what I think they're doing with the AI-based content is they're using AI to basically answer the queries, and then other people are going back and editing and kind of interjecting better details into the content. Because he said there's 4 people and each one of them is sharpening them a little bit. So that kind of tells me, reading between the lines, somebody gets it from AI, somebody gets it out of ChatGPT, somebody else reviews it, somebody else improves it, somebody reviews it, somebody improves it. He makes the final, so to say, decision on publishing it. So on that note, let's skip ahead to backlinks, because backlinks are important on any website. Now, I'm not a big backlink builder because I think a lot of people overdo it, but backlinks do work, right? Like there's no way around that.
So regarding off-page SEO and backlinks and things like this, to kickstart our website, I've chosen to treat it like any other real business because that's what it is. We are investing a lot of time, we're investing money and effort, and Google and consumers see us as a business, so why not treat it like one? With that said, I've taken to identifying local sponsorship opportunities in my area, the same office location listed on the website. I have a video on this, exactly how I identify local sponsorship opportunities.
Okay, I like that backlink strategy right there. He's not doing a bunch of outreach. He's not begging for backlinks. Instead, he's sponsoring offline events and things and businesses like the Chamber of Commerce. paying a fee for that sponsorship, but subsequently you get backlinks at best. At worst, sometimes they don't give you backlinks or sometimes they don't do follow them. But at worst, you're getting a citation out there on another reputable and authoritative website. I really, really, really like that. I think that's better than just outreaching or better than just outright buying links because you're going in places where there's not a lot of outbound links. I really, really like that backlink strategy. Now, let's complement this with what else he's doing to build a multi-channel content brand.
So something else I did to further our double EAT is that I created a YouTube channel for Bopple.
Bingo.
I consider this an experiment within the experiment for a specific cluster of topics I did. I created adjoining YouTube videos that are embedded into each post. Unfortunately, I don't have enough subs to have the hyperlinks from my descriptions on the YouTube channel pushed out as backlinks or no follow links or what have you. But I can say the cluster that I did on YouTube is by far the highest impressions on the website.
Okay, so he is also building a YouTube channel around the content website, and I think that is freaking amazing. I think it's freaking awesome. I've been talking a lot about doing it myself. So when people hit the blog, they will see his content in video format, number one, but I think there's a big secondary effect from your content and your brand name being published out there on other sites where Google can see that there's real things happening, right? There's real people engaging with it and that it is authoritative content. So, even though there may not be a direct correlation between publishing on YouTube and your blog, when other people are typing in your brand name and looking for your brand name and recognizing you as an authoritative figure, or, Google's team is out there doing their little EAT review, which we've heard or not heard, but we do know it happens. There's people at Google search results and grade websites on EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. They see all this stuff and that gives you a much higher score. And I think there's a lot to be said for building a multi-channel content brand. So while his written content may not be the best, we don't know how much exactly they're souping up the AI content. I guess we could go look at it. But to really complement that or supplement it, and kind of boost its performance or boost the whole thing, they're publishing on YouTube. And I absolutely love that. I think it's imperative that anyone out there builds a multi-channel content brand, and that is what he's doing here. And finally, there's monetization, because there's no sense in putting in all of this effort and money, i.e. resources, if you're not going to make money off of the project. So let's hear how he's monetizing it.
The results so far, I want to talk about my plans for future monetization on the website. So overall, I imagine this experiment, this overpriced, expensive experiment, is going to cost between $30,000 and $50,000 in 2023.
So he's got a little skin in the game.
But there are three main ways we plan to monetize the website eventually. Number one being display ads. Hopefully we can get onto Mediavine with 50,000 and above monthly viewers. We also plan to have affiliate links for specific products such as insurance CRMs and things like this. And we also have our own products, which is a huge advantage. So because I run a legitimate insurance company, we are able to offer real solutions to consumers looking for insurance products like life insurance and whatever else. So my guess...
All right, so that's huge. He is actually a licensed insurance agent, which gives him expertise, authority, and trust. But if they can sell their own products behind this business, they're going to make far more money than display ads and affiliate links. And quite frankly, they don't even really need that stuff. They can just focus on what they need to deliver to really make the consumers happy, and the business will grow and make far more money than just a blog. So on that note, guys, what do you think about this? What have you noticed that Jesse's doing right or wrong? Let me know in the comments. Just to kind of re-summarize it, I think, he did well by choosing a brandable domain name. I really don't like the AI thing, but he can make that work, and it seems like he is. And then when it comes to building a multi-channel content brand, he is doing that, publishing the YouTube content. He's also building some backlinks in the community. So he's taking this business and really making it more than just a blog. And finally, he's monetizing it with his own products, something that other people out there online cannot just duplicate. Nobody can just become an insurance agent, at least not easily. So in doing all of this stuff, I think he's building an incredible content website here and an incredible content business. And on that note, guys, if you found this video helpful and insightful, be sure to do myself a sweet one. Smash that like button. You know the drill. Do yourself a sweet one. Hit the subscribe button so you get all of my insights into online business. And I am calling it a wrap and signing off on that note.